As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be.
Oh man, it's 8 o'clock.
And so that'll make it a.
I don't need the spotlight. I shine just fine.
Hi, I'm Karma, and yes, I am a bitch.
BravBros.
Hi, guys. How are you? Nice to meet you virtually.
Yeah, we're great. Thanks for having us. We're really excited to get into this.
Yeah, I'm pumped. Vanderpump was my original favorite show. It's what got me into Bravo. My wife is a huge Doty fan. So like when I told her that we were going to talk to you, she was so excited. She's upstairs right now. Like, you have to tell her like how much I loved her. I was like, I got you, dude. Don't worry.
Okay, so like first questions first, and I'm sure you answer this. I know that you talked about this on Ryan Bailey, but why? What got you into Bravo? Like, I did listen to some of it, and then I was like, no. I want them to tell me instead
That's
of,
funny.
you know. So why Bravo? Why reality? First question, did you watch any reality TV pre-Bravo?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mine was The Bachelor. I was a big Bachelor fan.
Oh.
Bachelor in Paradise, actually, which is that was my go-to. But with the Bravo of it all, if you will, it was mid-pandemic, and my wife and I were stuck in the house. We lived in like a little row home at the time, so there was really only like one living space. She decided that she was going to rewatch all of Vanderpump from season 1 all the way on.
No, I'm so sorry.
Well, it led to this, so it's all good. We're good. But as she's watching it, like in the beginning, I tried to check out. I wasn't paying attention. I was like looking at my phone, and I would just hear shit come out of the TV, and like, you know, it was peak Stassi and Jax, so they were going through all their stuff.
So you're hearing Laura Lee's voice just ring throughout your house. And you're
exactly.
Like,
I'm just hearing sounds and like people saying outrageous things and like horrible things to one another. I'm like, whoa, what did they say? And next thing you know, I'm watching it with her. And next thing you know, she's going to the store to get food for the week, and I'm still watching. And then she's going to bed, and I'm knocking out like 5 episodes, and it's like 3 a.m. And then from there, it like escalated to Real Housewives and some of the other shows. But I got hooked on Vanderpump. I was just like, wow, this is great TV. I don't know how you can not watch this. So, and then Shooter had a similar experience. But
mine was very similar, except I was more like the angry dad in the corner. So my girlfriend at the time was watching, I think she was watching Jersey or New York, and I just couldn't handle it. Like, I would look in and be like, why are they screaming at each other? This is really annoying. And I'd walk away, and she kind of just tried to ease me into it. So she put on Summer House, and I'm like, ooh, these guys are partying. They're fun. They're yelling at each other. They're getting blacked out in the Hamptons. I've been to the Hamptons before. It's a great time. So I started to watch that. And then I kind of gave the Housewives a bit of a chance, a little bit more, you know, spending quality time with your girlfriend. And then before we knew it, Steele and I were at different parties. We've been friends for almost 20 years. And I think we were at somebody's birthday party, and all the girls were up on the deck talking about Bravo, and we could hear them. So then we started commenting to each other. And then the typical, like the very cliche, you guys should start a podcast. And we start laughing about it. And then Steele just texted me maybe like 2 weeks later on a Saturday morning. So I bought a bunch of equipment. I think we're going to start this podcast. So we started it off, and honestly, like we started off kind of low, and we were like, wow, 60 people are listening to us. This is nuts. And then we went on, we made friends with Zach Peter, and we started doing a little bit more. And now we never imagined getting this far, but you know, here we are.
Yeah, we did a live show last week in Philly. We sold it out. It was with Zach Peter, actually. And
hell yeah, congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, it was awesome. But like, I was standing on stage at one point, like with Shooter, and I was like, dude, how the fuck did we get here? And like the room was like, the energy was through the roof, and everyone was like so excited. We got Dorinda was our guest, and Chris Bassett came out. So it was like one of the most fun nights of my life. But there was definitely that moment at one point where I kind of looked at him and was like, dude, how did we get here? Like, how are we on stage right now talking about Bravo in front of 150 people? Like, yeah, I'm grateful.
How young are you guys?
We're in our 30s. We're about 32.
Oh,
32.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, his age.
Nice.
I'm the old one. Cool.
Can you see LA rubbing off on me? This is not me.
Is it the shirt? Yeah, I think it's
I just assumed that you were from LA with that shirt.
No, LA just threw up on me.
I took him to Zara. I took him to Zara, and I was like, let's find a style. He's like, oh, God. No, I don't.
I cannot stand Zara. I have to get out of that store as soon as I go in. I have friends, like guy friends that shop there, and I'm like, you're an idiot. I got to go.
Yeah. By the way, dude, you look great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going
Yeah,
for.
really. You look
It doesn't work on the East Coast as much. West Coast, you can do whatever you want. You're good.
Right.
So
Yeah,
wait, I have
well,
a question before we get into like all the Vander thing. I just have so many questions for you guys. But because you mentioned Summer House, I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about Summer House? And now how do you feel about Winter House?
Oh, I hate Winter
I have
House.
I have very strong opinions.
Oh,
and
I hate Winter House. I think Winter House is the most useless show on the
Amen.
network. It's so dumb. These one-off like spin-offs, like, hey, maybe somebody will like this. Like, no, it's stupid. We get enough of them in the summer, or I guess now. We don't really care about them elsewhere. We'll hear some tidbits and whatever. Just I think they use Winter House as like a tryout. So they'll just throw
like
people
Spring
and look.
House, Fall
Yeah,
House.
let's just keep going. Why not? But the state of Summer House is in a very fragile state. I love Summer House, and we even talked to Carl about this a couple of weeks ago. We tweeted out that, well, we actually posted a video that the show sucked, and I went on a rant about how I felt like it was falling apart. They needed to do some dire things, and Carl commented back and said, well, I'd love to hop on your podcast and talk about it. So we had him on. He promised that the season was going to get better, and it has for the most part. And we're holding out hope because, like Steele with Vanderpump, like he loves Vanderpump, and he was so upset. He was seeing it go in the wrong direction, and now he's like, we're back, baby. I need that same, maybe without the scandal, I need that same reinvigoration for Summer House.
Yeah, like I feel that I'm not a huge Bravo watcher anymore, and Luke knows nothing. He's seen 2 episodes.
I'm catching. Not really. I started watching it though.
How many episodes of Vanderpump?
So when we started dating, she told me I have to promise not to watch Vanderpump Rules.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Okay, no argument there. I've never been into that kind of thing, so no problem. And now we're doing a recaps, and so I've seen like 4 episodes now, all recent. And she's like, still don't watch the old ones. You don't want to see me in the old ones.
Dude, be careful. You're going to get hooked. Well, look, I mean, I think that you should dive back into the old ones. And I say this.
Are you trying to get me broken up?
Kristen's face is so funny
because
with
of
that.
this. Well, yeah, she's like, please don't tell me to watch it. Don't watch it. No,
Okay, but I'm
here's
willing
why.
to hear you out.
Here's why. And this comes from watching on Watch What Happens Live last night. The growth that you have done from your time on Vanderpump to the person I saw last night was like, it was genuinely, it's impressive. You seem very sure of yourself. You seem very confident. And like the way that you discussed everything going on was a Kristen that I hadn't really heard before, and in a very good way, where you're very pragmatic at your approach and you kind of break it down. You're not getting too emotional about it. You understand the situation. You're not taking a firm stance. Like you're sympathetic to Ariana. There's obviously been a lot of questions at you like, well, this compares to this and this compares to this. And you've done a really good job at being like, you know what? It has nothing to do with me. This is about Ariana. It's about my friend. We're trying to get her through this, and that's all. So I think that for Luke's sake, if he does watch the early episodes, like, yeah, you're going to see some shit. I'm not going to lie. You're going to see some shit. But to see where she is now, I think it's really impressive. And I think that you should take a lot of pride in that.
Yeah, thank you. I mean,
That's so nice.
Me being wasted and a mess and not taking accountability for anything and always playing the victim. And that I feel like with this whole Scandoval thing, it's like people are saying like, well, you know, but Kristen, this is something I've been hearing a little bit lately. Like, Kristen, well, you were in your late 20s, right? Raquel's in her late 20s, right? Okay. Totally fair. I'm very open to that, even though I think she's trash. But are we going to see growth? I feel like it's like she's working at like a cell phone on 6%. Like what is the growth? You're going to go to a mental health facility, but you really went to a day spa. You cry to your parents. You hire 15 PR companies to give you some bullshit thing on Instagram because nothing is working. She's grabbing at straws and nothing's working because she can't just be genuine.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really... Go ahead, Luke.
I was saying she came into it all differently. Like Kristen is one of the founders that built that show, right?
Yeah.
And Raquel has come in
as a fan
and like quickly rose to the point where she's like recognized and you know, also making good money and everything. And you know, look at the first couple of years, at least I know from Kristen, starting a show or any new show, you're not making any money, right? You're still just barely getting by. There's no publicist, there's no manager, there's no one in your ear trying to tell you how to make this better for you.
Season 2 or in 3, I think, were the most broke that all of us have ever been in our lives. Because not only, obviously, we're not making a lot of money on the show, but now the show is building and we can't really work there. Right. We also are no longer allowed to do these like modeling jobs, small acting gigs, extra work, whatever it was we were doing on the side to pay our rent.
Oh, you're not allowed to?
We had like, there's no time.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
It's like, here's your schedule, here's your call time, your schedule. Of course, you can always say like, well, I have this thing coming up. And maybe they'll give you the time off to do it. Maybe they're interested in filming it. But if they're not, then you can't.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then over time, as the show builds, now you're just this like reality personality. Like they don't want you in this, modeling campaign or this TV show because now you're slightly recognizable. So I'm talking like negative bank accounts, splitting $5 footlongs, using your tips to get like an employee like lunch at SIR in order to just like eat. That's why we were so skinny.
Wow. That's that we love, and maybe it's because we're men, but we love when people break the fourth wall because we always want to know what's going on. So we always talk about like, when producers have their hand in stuff and how they're trying to steer the season, and we try to get as much out as we possibly can. So you saying that to us is like, it's a bit of a holy grail almost for us because we're like, we need to know more about this. And we always get shit from like our listeners or other people who have seen our clips before. They're like, just watch the show and enjoy it. And it's like, all right, but you're in my comments defending somebody you've never met. So are you watching the show and enjoying it? No. So let me watch it how I'm going to watch it, losers.
Right.
But anyway, on the Sandoval thing, because this is something that's been bothering me. I know it's been bothering Steele. What in the world is it about Sandoval that women are attracted to? Because I can't figure it out.
You know what it is? I'll just speak for myself in the beginning. I mean, I was 24 years old when I met him. Jax introduced me to him. I barely knew anyone in LA. And I was like so brand new, so green. And not only was he like so charming and, he's very outgoing. And it's like all the things we kind of hate about him now. But imagine like that with no money. You know what I mean?
It's kind of endearing almost.
Yeah. And he's from St. Louis and I'm from Michigan. And it was, for me, it was just like, wow, this Midwest guy, but he is a little fancy. Like, and it's in the beginning, he's charming. He tells you everything you want to hear. And then as time progresses, he just starts stealing not only your spotlight, but like literally your shine, like your soul shine.
Yeah.
I taught him to play guitar. Guess who stopped playing guitar because it was all about him? We were both acting. Guess who stopped acting because everything was about Tom all the time? And it's like, you see that with what he did with Ariana with the cocktail book. It was her idea with Danny Pellegrino. And Tom could never just let her have her moment. He still. And with Raquel, I think the reason that he likes Raquel is because she validates all of those attention needs that he so desires. And Ariana is a real partner. So when he's wrong, she's going to let him know. But it's not like she's degrading him or anything like that. But she's not being his constant yes person. Tom Sandoval, pre-Scandoval, has more friend groups than any human I've ever met, including Sheena.
Wow.
He has so many best friends because he just needs that constant attention, constant validation.
He needs
That's why he goes out
a pat on the ass all the time. Well, to your point earlier about like why I think it's different as far as, you and Sandoval versus now with him and Raquel and all the things that happened in the past compared to today and like where you guys were at in your lives. I think that's the biggest thing. Like you guys were still, I think age is kind of irrelevant. You guys were finding yourselves. You're all still trying to figure out what exactly are you doing with your life? Like you didn't really have a direction that you were locked in on. So you guys are all kind of bouncing off of each other to figure out what's next. In this situation, we have somebody that built an entire life. Like you have a house, you have businesses, you have or everything but a ring. Like you were pretty much married. So I think comparing the two is apples to oranges. I don't think it's even remotely the same thing. I think when you say like, yeah, we were kids, we were young, and they go for like, well, you're in your late 20s. It's like, yeah, but as far as where you were in your life, especially in LA, like my brother lives in LA, he's in Los Feliz. Like people tend to kind of take their time with like moving forward. You guys,
it's a bit Never Land. Yeah, you're right. It's not the age. That's a really good point. It's not about like the number of years you've lived, but it's the where you are. And
exactly.
No, that's an excellent point. And we were very like kind of lost. And I'll be the first to say, I cannot believe I was with him for almost 6 years, but it was very much out at the last probably 4 years were out of like convenience. Like, well, we just live together. We just share the DVR box, you know? It was like easier to stay together and cheat on each other than it was. We knew we didn't have a future.
Yeah.
And then even when we broke up, I can say in hindsight, it wasn't like I was missing him, because the him that I fell in love with no longer existed. It was just like another of, oh shit, now what do I do? I put 6 years into this and now I have to start over. But
I do
Ariana, I never thought he would do that to her ever.
I think nobody did. I think that's why it was so like earth shattering, to the point where they're talking about it on CNN at one point. I think like it's gotten so crazy. But the one thing I do want to ask, as we see clips coming out of the things that he was saying to you in regards to Ariana and the things that he's saying about Raquel in interviews and stuff, they are shockingly similar. So looking back, looking at him now, and now he's on this bullshit healing journey where he feels like he should be posting on Instagram about like hiking and shit. Like it's the time to do that, but that's a whole different thing.
With Billy Lee.
With fucking Billy Lee. And we have questions about that too. Totally. But watching it play out like this, is it quite clear that this dude is he's just broken? Like this guy, it's a pattern. It's not him trying to figure him out. It's not him trying to praise this girl in his life that, oh, she's magnifying and she's electric and like all this shit, when he said the same exact stuff about Ariana to you and made you out to be the crazy person in the situation. And in reality, you were right. He was the one that was fucking around. So watching that back, like, how does that make you feel? Like, do you feel vindicated? Or are you more so just glad that it's coming to light but not?
It's sad. It's really sad, because now Ariana, who's put 10 years of her life into someone, into a partnership, has to start over. I mean, it's not too late. She's not too old, anything like that. But just like a decade is a really long time to, yes, she obviously had opportunities. She's been doing amazingly for so long and has been using her platform this whole time to build businesses for herself. But it's just like, damn, all the opportunity and all the time lost in giving herself to him, her, you know, her blood, sweat, tears, her love. It's just really fucking sad. But I'm glad. I mean, I never thought this was going to be who he was. So I feel like I've not hit that stage of my grieving process for Ariana right now. I don't think he's going to change ever.
I don't either.
At all.
Yeah, no, probably not.
I think this is the path that he's always going to be on. He's going to be that guy at, 60, 70 years old who just has like girlfriends. He's not going to find his true meaning in life, because I don't think he has any want or need or care to do so. I think he wants to be famous, and that's all he has to look forward to.
Well, that's why he pretends to be a rock star and some bullshit cover band where he's walking around like he's fucking Bon Jovi or some shit.
Exactly.
It's a weird comparison. Bon Jovi.
That is a weird.
Pick anybody else.
Two Bon Jovi videos.
Wait. Yeah. Have you been in it?
No. Tom Sandoval was in 2 Bon Jovi videos.
And damn it.
Good job, Steve.
And one of them was with Matthew McConaughey's now wife.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
I didn't know this. And then I used Bon Jovi as a.
I know.
Sucks. That gives him credit almost. Whoops.
Stupid.
No offense to Bon Jovi, everyone.
Yeah, no. He owns the arena football team in Philly.
Does
the
he really?
Philadelphia Soul. He sure, or at least he did. I don't even know.
I don't think they're around anymore. Yeah.
R.I.P.
All right, Soul.
R.I.P.
But no, so what is it like? And we want to kind of direct it towards you now, because I feel like, we can talk about Scandoval for, the next 10 hours if we wanted to.
Right.
But for you specifically, like, can you like walk us through, like, what was it like leaving the show? Like, do you feel like any relationships were fractured along the way, specifically with LVP? Like, do you still keep in touch with anybody else or anything else? Or is it really just like, that was a different stage of my life and I'm moving on and here I am?
I mean, number one, what relationship with LVP? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
There hasn't been one since maybe like 2007, 2008, when she was just my friend's mom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not afraid to say how I feel about her. I don't like the disrespect, and I see it also, I think, a lot more clearly now, just really quickly, because I obviously have not been on TV for 3 years. I did just film a competition series called The GOAT, coming to Amazon Freebie. I don't know when, or I can't tell you when, But working on that project and being treated with such respect and acknowledgement by my producers as someone who knows what I'm doing, rather than as like a 5-year-old child who is still a waitress that works at her restaurant.
Yeah.
Like, lady, I'm 40 years old.
Yeah.
You gotta move on. Like, you're the one acting like a little teenager, like middle school mean girl now. And it's just like, it's old. It's not cute anymore. I don't know. It just, but yeah, leaving the show, it was probably like, it took like 2 years for me to get past it. My friends were always my friends before Vanderpump and after Vanderpump. So that wasn't really affected. And I'm super grateful for that. And I think one of the harder things was watching once, the pandemic was over and being like, what are you guys doing today? Yay, let's hang out. We all live in the Valley. And they're like, oh, we're filming. I was like, great. Guess I got to find another group of friends to hang out. So that was pretty difficult. But, and even getting asked back to do that one scene with Ariana was, that was a tough one that I did not see coming. And Luke was here for that. Like, when I got that phone call.
Yeah. Kristen's gut reaction was $50,000. I'll do it.
Hey, I like that.
I mean, you could name your price.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that.
It doesn't work that way. But I literally started crying, and I'm like, I wasn't prepared for this. I don't know what to do. I don't want to, number one. Number two, I don't want to be seen as an opportunist or like a thirst trap. And it really, and I've said this, before on our podcast and like on Instagram and whatever, but it really did come down to what Ariana wanted.
Yeah.
And so about 5 days after that night happened, that Wednesday night when the phone fell out of the pocket, I was at her house Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, every day. And that weekend, one of the days when she was a little, more calm and whatnot, I just straight up was like, I need to talk to you one-on-one. This isn't like, fuck the ratings, fuck Bravo, fuck the production company. What do you want? Because I am sure I know your schedule. And I know that you've now talked about this 40 million times with every cast member while they pick the cameras back up. Is this just going to be one more thing you have to talk about? Because I don't need to do this. And she really wanted to have that moment. So I said yes.
Well,
and that was kind of that.
We're looking forward to seeing it next week.
I will never go back to Vanderpump Rules.
That was the next question. So that's good to know. Our listeners will be.
I will go back to reality television, just not in that specific capacity.
That's fair. And I think that again shows growth, that you recognize you're at a place in your life where that would be detrimental to you. And you just don't want to dive back in, unlike some of your other former castmates that are jonesing to get back. But I do want to ask, with Ariana, how did you guys find your way back to a friendship? Because obviously things must have been a little bit strenuous given how things went down. So what was the journey to kind of get to a place where you're a confidant, where you're going over there, checking on her and making sure she's okay post Scandoval?
It's so wild because they filmed a little bit of this. I feel like it was season 7, maybe. It was whenever Lala had like a concert and Ariana kind of went on this like girl date. It was so brief. And we really tried, the two of us, Ariana and I, really tried to push on producers. Like, people want to know how we became friends again. And they
do.
I don't know why they never found it interesting enough to let us kind of tell our story. But honestly, it was just once I started dating my ex-boyfriend Carter and found my happy and like found myself in a place where I didn't need to make Ariana and Tom's lives a living hell anymore. And I think then from that moment, they kind of fell in love with Carter and he was going to be around. And then they saw growth in me. They found out that I was going to therapy, especially her, like, screw Tom right now. But she saw the change. It was the actions. It took years. But eventually it was really just that I was no longer coming after her. I wasn't the same person that I had been for so many years. So she was like, okay, let's tiptoe, let's tiptoe. Well, let's be buddies. Let's try to hang out. And then eventually we just, time heals all wounds. And we became really great friends. And it's been that way for, it has to be at least like 7 years now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's it. See, again, the growth is impressive.
Yeah. Ariana, we always have this thing where she's always like ripped on me for being like the live, laugh, love girl and like the quotes on my walls. And being like into crystals and astrology. And we always like joke around, like whenever we give each other like birthday cards and stuff, she like sends me like a card that has like the live, laugh, love thing. Or now we do like spiritual healing together. And we're like, look, we're finding our place where we're both really into this kind of stuff. So I just like that we're both able to like make fun of all of that too.
Yeah, that's super important too. And I feel like with Bravo specifically, like they don't want to be invested in your like relationship mending with Ariana because they'd rather you guys be at odds. Like this isn't going to make for good TV. Nobody wants to see this when in reality, Steele and I talk about this all the time. Like we like the feel good stories. We like to see growth in these people that we're watching every week and reading about in the off season, as we call it. And like, it's just tough because I feel like they're just going towards this toxic direction with everything. And it's like, we don't need that all the time. We need to feel good about people. Yeah, because when the toxicity comes into play, we're not going to be as affected if we're not invested in their character. So like if we saw growth between you and Ariana and then you guys got into a fight, like that would hurt us. And that's how we would like to watch TV. So I don't know. I feel like they just kind of miss the mark with stuff like that. And I agree.
Because it's like, I'm still who I am. I'm still going to always stand up for all of my friends. I'm still not quite as aggressively insert myself possibly into things that might not necessarily be my business because I'm very protective. And so it's like, well, why am I so protective over her? Well, miss that mark because now people don't really understand. That's why I think as a whole, a lot of the Vanderpump fans were a little confused as to why I didn't feel vindicated.
And I think that, you know, when it comes to the vindication factor of it and like how you feel about the whole thing, again, your approach to it was the correct approach in our opinion, just because it's not about you in that moment. Like, sure, you could have had a moment where if you wanted to take advantage of the situation, you could have kicked the door down and been like, I told you, see, I was right, and posted it all over the place. Instead, I didn't even think we really heard from you. I was even confused because I didn't know. Again, I wish they'd told us how you guys got back to being friends.
Yeah.
Because there was like a paparazzi picture of you like walking into Ariana's house on that Friday morning. I was like, oh, wow, like she's going over to check on her. I wonder, like, how did that happen? And I wish we'd gotten more information that you guys were close, but I want to talk to my man for a sec, Mr. LA over there.
All right.
And I would say he's been like, he was at Ariana's house like every day with me as well.
And that's kind of what I wanted to check
much
on.
time there because I was like the only dude a lot. And it was a lot of like, you know,
girls.
I'm going to go.
Yeah. A lot of fuck men conversations. And you're like, yeah, they're the worst.
I was playing with the dogs, you know, I'm like, all right, I'm going to go now.
Yeah, I'm going to bounce. Once they started burning things, you left. But when like being a third party to this, like not just obviously with the Scandoval stuff and being involved in that, but just being with somebody that has this major presence in reality TV, like what's that like? Like when you got into like Vanderpump and you guys are talking about it, just what's been your experience with reality TV since dating a reality TV star?
So it has been just a massive change in so many ways. I mean, bringing the Scandoval stuff into play changed a lot. So my first exposure was at Sheena's wedding. I was there with Kristen, and it was also her first time being around cameras since leaving Vanderpump, and they were shooting it and we're there and we're seeing it all and knowing we're going to be blurred out. And yet Kristen still feels these like really strong, deep emotions. One of her best friends is getting married and everything. Yeah. And you know,
and being around the crew again when I started crying.
Right.
And yeah, you had to deal with that.
Yeah, having to deal with that. So I think it's been just in the time I've been with Kristen, I feel like she's evolved. And like this confidence has come back with the Scandoval things because it's like people want to hear what she has to say more than ever. And it's been pretty cool. And honestly, I had never heard of Vanderpump before I met Kristen. I didn't know what it was.
That's
I didn't
impressive.
watch any of that stuff. So
simpler time.
right. Things definitely were simpler. Yeah, it's a wild ride. My life has a lot of twists and turns, and this has been a fun one. So yeah.
Has it been a fun one?
Most of the time.
99% of the time.
It's relationship
to have to hear about it 24/7.
Oh yeah. Sometimes I'm like, really? We're talking about this again? The same thing. I've heard this story 12 times.
That's how we feel. Yeah. It's only me and Shooter to talk to each other about the same shit every week over and over again. This is our life now. That's like that moment on stage. I'm like, wow, bro, this is our life for better or worse. Like, here we are. Hey,
You know, I feel like you guys are like the Barstool Sports of Bravo now, but like not douchey. And
Hey.
you
Oh,
also,
all right.
but
There
you've
you
also
go.
like taken the place of, I can't remember the show name, but remember when Jerry O'Connell got that
Mhm.
show that kind of got changed and then taken off because essentially they were saying straight men watch Bravo.
Yep.
And then it was
Yeah.
like, well, you can't talk like that or whatever. But we don't have that anymore. So now we have you two. And
We're
I think
glad
it's
to
an
be here.
important part of the demographic, honestly.
Yeah, we even talked about that when we first started because I listen to Jerry O'Connell all the time. I think he's hilarious. I love him so much. And he didn't have that show. And I knew he had that show at one point in time. And I looked it up and I'm like, Steele, there's nobody in this market at all. And I thought that Jerry was there. And I'm like, it's going to be tough going up against Jerry every week. And then I realized, I'm like, shit, he's gone. So we can just fill those big shoes to fill for Jerry. But on the topic of like podcasts and stuff, just for like our listeners' sake and everything else, whatever, what are you guys going to cover on your episodes every week? What are you guys going to talk about? Like, let's get into that. And we want to put some feedback in there too, because we've got opinions.
Yeah. So
Shooter here to talk to you guys about Dave. Now, listen, everybody's been in like a pinch with some cash, especially when you're coming up to the summer. You want to start getting fit. You want to get some good fits as well for the beach. You want to make sure that you're looking good and going out. And sometimes it's not always easy to have the cash on hand to make sure that happens. If you're living paycheck to paycheck or struggling to make ends meet, it can be stressful when unexpected expenses come up. With Dave, you can get your money sooner without worrying about how much money you have to get through the week. Dave is the banking app that could help you get up to $500 instantly with ExtraCash. With Dave, there's no interest, late fees, or credit check. There's money to fill your tank, finally get your car repaired, or catch up on bills without having to wait for your next paycheck. You can finally tackle those expenses that have been stressing you out. Millions of people have already downloaded the Dave app to get financial relief they need with ExtraCash. So if you're in a pinch and need some extra help, download Dave and think of it as a helping hand from future you. That's always nice to think about the future you when they're nice and financially stable. Download the Dave app from the App Store right now or go to dave.com/BravBros. That's dave.com/BravBros. Sign up for an ExtraCash account and get up to $500 instantly. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Instant transfer fees apply. Banking services provided by Evolve Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Wanted to start our podcast, Sex, Love, and What Else Matters, because I obviously am very passionate about just the psychology behind why men and women do what they do, think how they think in relationships, in dating. I'm typically a relationship gypsy. I jump from one to the next. I'm not into really being single, but I have been single before. And I've been ghosted and just all of the things, you know, and I wanted a male perspective. I thought it was really important to have a dude perspective on why men do and think what they do, and to really just be the voice of all the guys out there. And so when Luke and I first started hanging out, even though we didn't live in the same state, let alone the same time zone, we talked on the phone for 5-6 hours a day sometimes. And he was such an open book to me asking all of the questions, like, what was that girl like? Or, you know, I don't know. I just, you know, I like to dig down and get dirty, and I want all the details. And yeah, that's kind of like how it became a thing. And I just think it's fascinating to have a really honest perspective, and it's helped our relationship because that's why I think we're so great, because of our communication.
It's almost like couples therapy.
I was, sort of. I was pretty open to. I'd tell her too on the phone. I'd be like, well, you know, I kind of fucked that one up. You know, talking about ex-girlfriends. Like, yeah, that one was on me. And I think that's ultimately the thing. The other thing is when we were talking, she was doing some pre-recordings with somebody else for like trying to get this podcast off the ground, and then some stuff came up, and she's just like, what am I gonna do? And I'm like, well, I'm right here and we talk about this every day. You want to just like, I can come on, we can do that. And she's like, really, will you? Like, yeah, why not? We just put a microphone up instead of our cell phones. And so here we are.
Yeah, that's kind of how it came to fruition.
It's a fun dynamic. Yeah, I like the fact that you guys,
the honesty, like being willing to be super vulnerable and talk about, like, even just in the department of sex, like a lot of people, which I understand, like if you're not like a sex therapist or a podcast host with a microphone, you don't necessarily want to like air all of your laundry. but I think people are very curious, and there's a lot of things people are afraid to ask and are afraid to talk about. And I firmly stand on, if you can't talk about sex, you shouldn't be having sex, like with your partner. And then I just think, yeah, again, with relationships, like, why do people ghost, or why are people, I don't know, like, why are they afraid of commitment, men specifically? Like, I know how all my female friends think, but it was a really cool moment to have a straight male to be willing to discuss those things so openly.
Just be careful in this space, Luke, because Shooter and I are two straight dudes. Anytime that we go on rants, without fail, people tell us in our comments like, "Oh, here they go mansplaining again." It's like we can't talk and explain without, like, I don't think we're being condescending and mansplaining, but like we are two men explaining. It's like this weird space you get lumped into. So just don't read the comments too much, because like I'll go back at the commenters and then Shooter will text me and tell me to knock it off, because now I'm in like a 10 comment chain where I'm like, at pretty much at the point, like, no, you're stupid. No, you're stupid. And like, it's not
I give you a little bit of a leash. I let you go for like make a point or two, but then when you're down there and you're just like looking through their pictures and pointing things out, I'm like, all right, dude, you got to stop now.
Yeah, like whatever, bro. Nice visor, dickhead. Like,
that's hilarious. Really, what we ran into when we started it was some girls from my past kind of resurfaced, or their friends tried to come in defending them, saying things that weren't true, saying like an ex-girlfriend that we were not together for over a year, that we were like about to get back together before I went to the wedding where I met her. Not true. And I went and defended. They're like, look at his Instagram. He's got pictures tagged with her. And I said, well, look, the last one tagged was June 6, 2020.
Yeah. So you proved my point. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But since then, I haven't touched it. Kristen does tell me. Sometimes I'll send her a screenshot and she's like, ignore it. I know you're new to this world, but just you need to ignore it.
I'm still getting used to it too. We've almost been here for like a year. So I don't know if it ever gets easier, but there's a lot of funny ones. We actually started a segment on our show called Rose and Thorn, where we both pick our favorite comment of the week and our least favorite comment of the week, which is, it's been really fun because now people will comment in an effort to make the Rose and Thorn, and not always nice. Sometimes they go the thorn route and they are extra mean, and those are really funny. So there's a way to play with it.
It's like mean tweets with Jimmy Kimmel.
Pretty much, exactly. Yeah. Except one person said that it was very self-indulgent and gratuitous, and then we decided to name our Thorn segment after that person. And then they reached out and they were like, you know what, that's really funny, and my middle name actually is Rose, so it works out really well. So we gave her the grace, and we said, you know what? Good job. It's full circle. We're done. We're going back to Rose and Thorn.
And if you're listening, Kate R. Sharif, we still love you.
So I have a question about, like, because you're both married, correct?
I am married.
He's married.
Okay. Okay. Do you have a girlfriend?
Not anymore, no.
Okay. Well, when you did, or just female friends, whatever, does it make you closer with female friends or significant others watching Bravo because you have things to talk about, or does it then get annoying because then all they want to do is talk about it?
I think so. It doesn't get annoying necessarily, but I do think that, like, I mean, we bombard them with sports. How, like, we probably don't even realize how much we talk about sports because it's just always there, especially in Philly.
DNA.
Like, yeah, it's just in our DNA. Like, we grew up playing it. We talk about it all the time. And I feel like they just have to kind of be involved in that conversation. And then, you know, if you're the type of guy that gets mad because somebody doesn't know what a first down is, then you're a douchebag. But you have to kind of teeter that line around there. So now that we're in this space, like Steele said, you know, we're going to get people that comment and be like, look at these cishet men over here talking about girl stuff. And we're like, just shut up. Like, everybody can formulate an opinion. It's television. Everybody can watch it. We don't have to like enter in a special code to go watch Bravo. Right. So when we talk, and like, I think that it's really funny because a lot of our friends that are girls or friends of friends, they want to hear our opinion on it as if we don't talk about it every week, but they'll still stop us and be like, oh yeah, so what is your thought on this? Like, what is your thought on that? And we're like, oh yeah, all right, we'll get into this. So now we spend a good time. Honestly, we probably talk more about Bravo at parties than we do about sports anymore. So yeah, we got to try to find a balance in there, but it works. And I feel like it does make relationships and friendships a little closer sometimes.
Yeah, like with me and my wife, like we watch every show together because Shooter and I cover all the main shows that are airing at the time, whatever that might be. Like we start Atlanta this upcoming Sunday, I think. But yeah, it's great because, you know, we'll make dinner. It turns into like a night, like we have dinner and then we're watching the show and then we like break it down during Watch What Happens Live. We kind of tune into that, but then we'll talk on the side. And then I do feel bad because there's times where we've been watching it like nonstop. Like it's been, especially with Scandoval, it's literally taken over our lives, which I'm sure you can appreciate. But as like I'll get home and I've been like on my phone, like texting Shooter all day, or I've been talking to people at the gym because I do personal training in the mornings. And a lot of the clients there will be like, oh my God, did you hear about this? Did you hear about that? And by the time I get home, I'm like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. But my wife does. And I'm like, I can't give everyone else the time of day and not give my own wife the time. She's the reason that we're doing this. So I do my best to always be open to talking about it. I guarantee there's times where she probably like pulls back because I'm probably being cranky and not nice. And that's a me problem. And I'm going to apologize, Dev, if I'm ever cranky and don't want to talk about Bravo, because I should be so lucky to have a partner that's so supportive and wants to talk about things with me. So
I would 99. Love to be like a fly on the wall and like your marriage therapy, and you're like, well, it's about Bravo.
Yeah, it's just look, it's gotten really
That's
tough.
your biggest problem.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm really bringing work home with me too much.
Okay,
I come home, it's there. Like
my follow-up question is, why should Luke watch reality TV?
Oh, that's easy.
I got him into Bachelor in Paradise.
Way better than The Bachelor. Sorry.
Bachelor was terrible.
Yeah.
Bachelor in Paradise is light. It's fun. It's edgier. All those people are clawing at a chance to get back on TV. Like you love the desperation factor of it. Like I'm a big Bachelor in Paradise fan, but
convince my boyfriend that reality TV can be fun.
Sure. Do you want to take the lead?
Yeah. So, I mean, if let's just put it this way. So imagine yourself watching a show that has a script and you hate how it's going. And you're like, why don't the writers just do this or that or whatever? In this way, in reality TV, you can blame real people in real time for acting the way that they are. Nobody wrote this script. It's just someone being an asshole. And you can be like, wow, that person's really being an asshole. It's not an actor doing something or portraying something that you don't like. You can, it's like the feelings are like more genuine. So it's, and don't get us wrong. Like we still watch a lot of scripted TV. It's not like we spend all of our time doing that, and we have sports to vent all of our anger into. But in between there, it's kind of nice to watch that. It's a lot different than anything else that you can watch.
I would say, because you're a sports guy, we were talking football before the podcast. There's a lot of, like, we joke about it a lot, but if you really do want to draw similarities, like there are a lot of similarities between the sports world and the Bravo world. For example, like all of these Bravo celebrities are fighting for a contract. They're playing for a contract for the next season. They need to have a good year. They need to put up some big numbers to re-sign, or else they get kicked to the curb. We have some backup shows. That's the minor leagues. We're talking Winter House. We're talking the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trips. Those are our minor leagues. They're trying to get back into the system. And you can kind of comment on it from that perspective, where it's like, you know, so-and-so is having a great year. You know, she really came out strong in the beginning. She's fading like midway through the season. She's got the whole off season to recover. We'll see how she bounces back.
Oh my God,
like,
this is brilliant.
But it's not wrong.
But it works. And like, not only that, like I've made predictions in the beginning of seasons where I've said this person's going to be, they're going to turn you into a fan of theirs. And I think we were watching Beverly Hills and it was Sutton, and Steve was like, I cannot stand Sutton. And I'm like, Sutton's going to have a strong season. And by the end, you're going to like her. And it's like the prediction, it's almost like I put like $50 on the Eagles to get to the Super Bowl or something, and I won like $4,000 and my fandom. It was just it was so nice to see at the end of the year that Steele was slowly starting to turn, and he would finally say something nice, and I'm like, gotcha, bitch. And then it's good. Like if you have friends, especially like if Kristen's watching it, you can kind of place some nice little wagers here and there, and it makes it a little interesting.
Yeah, we do prop bets.
We love sports betting.
Yeah, and I love calling things. Sometimes we watch movies. I've seen enough certain theme movies. I'm like, that's the killer. Like right out the gate.
But you can't get that in reality TV.
Didn't you say
right? But the similar type predictions of what you're saying. I love predicting things. Love being like,
oh yeah.
I mean, I'm a golfer too, and when we walk up, I'm like, we're probably like what 128 yards out. They pull up they shoot it, and it's like 131. I'm like, pretty good.
Yeah, I'm
Didn't you do like a
using the same club
draft with Bachelor or something? Or you were?
Oh yeah, they used to do Fantasy Bachelor, and that's when I actually watched the season.
We have a friend who does that too.
Yeah. So, but you're already in it, dude. You just need to like here's the thing. And it's like, this is the whole shtick that when we started this show, like what our goal was, it's to remove the stigma that comes along with like being a straight dude watching Bravo. Mm-hmm. And a big part of that, again, is like the sports thing. Like, yeah, you can totally watch like the first 2 episodes and start making predictions. That's what we all do. We sit there and go, okay, so-and-so is going to have a good year. So-and-so looks like shit. This person came out of the gate too quick. Who's this newbie? She's coming on way too strong. Or in like Allie's case, you'd be like, wow, that's refreshing. Allie's having a good year. We got a rookie coming in hot. Like, this is exciting. We might have a new prospect. Like there's ways to kind of, And before you know it, you do it subconsciously. You're just kind of like betting on certain people. You put your faith in like this team and they don't work out. And then like there's factions on certain shows where it's like this 3 versus those 4. So you're like, oh, I'm team this person. And it's like being a Phillies fan versus being a Mets fan. Like there's a lot of things you can kind of draw comparisons to. And it's really funny because when we do this and we talk sports stuff, we get a lot of comments from wives are like around the country. They're like, thank you guys so much. Like I dropped the Jalen Hurts knowledge on my husband during the Super Bowl and he was floored. He thought I was the coolest person ever because I just like, she's like, I didn't know what I was talking about, but because of you guys, I sounded really cool. And we're like, we love that. That's great.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
I have a quick question, and Luke, I know Luke has 2 specific questions for you guys, but I want to know specifically for Vanderpump, what are your thoughts on the dudes and how has it changed over seasons?
I think Steele it should start with this one.
I don't want.
There's no number 1 guy right now, right?
There is no. Ariana's the number 1 guy in the group.
Ariana really is the number 1 guy.
Yeah, pretty much. Go ahead, Steele.
Okay. Well, this
like,
is
have you ever liked any of the guys?
So here's the thing, and like, of course, you would be the one asking me this question. Like, this is how my life is going these days. Like, why the fuck wouldn't Kristen Doute be asking me who's your favorite dudes? So I was a huge Tom fan of both of them for a long time. So for reasons similar to what you said about him, like the polarizing aspects, I appreciated the fact that he didn't really give a shit what people thought about him. Like he just kind of did his own thing. I like that. With Schwartz, I always thought he was kind of a dork, but like. There was something I fell for that puppy dog shit for a long time. To my wife's credit, she was like, when we were watching during the pandemic, she's like, see, I just think it's a shtick. I think he knows exactly what he's doing. I think he's just playing this game. And like, sure enough, after Scandoval, you can't deny that. You've seen kind of the mask fall off a couple times. But I just liked their dynamic. I thought they were a funny duo for TV. Did I think they were good people? No, not at all. But I did like the shit that they were doing. They were just entertaining to the point where they had that Tom hat. There was a black hat with a blue logo on it.
Logo,
and and I told my wife, I was like, that hat's dope. And my wife's the best. So she ordered it and I had it 2 days later. And then fast forward, we talked to somebody from your show and they met us in Philly and gave us hats 1 day after Scandoval broke. So I got these awesome Tom hats. I got all this cool shit. You're not willing to
disclose who it was?
I would not do that to them. But they gave us these great hats, these awesome Tom hats. It's nobody member? It's not a cast member. It's not a cast member.
Okay.
But they gave us these dope hats and we can't wear them because I'm not going to go around supporting Tom because I hate them both now. But I was big fans of theirs. And also,
you can't even light them on fire because they're made of like plastic.
They're like polyester. They'll probably explode.
I did try.
Right? Oh, you did?
I tried to light one on fire, and I was like, "This is bad for the planet."
Yeah, no, that's gonna rip the ozone layer apart.
Yeah, but that's so. And then the other person I like only for TV. Only for TV.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say.
I know, and I have to say it to you, and it sucks. And I hate that I have to say this, but DJ James Kennedy is an entertaining character on TV. And again. Of course, you're the one asking me these questions, and I'm so sorry. But
I'll prove you wrong one day.
I look forward to it because, again, I don't think he's a good person at all.
He's like comedic relief.
Exactly. Like the shit he says is so off the wall. His reactions to things are so immature and childish.
How did you feel about his Watch What Happens Live?
Oh, I didn't like it.
No,
I didn't like his Watch What Happens Live. He's way too. He's taking too much. What's that? Speedy. Oh, I think there's a subtle dig.
I mean, I'm not claiming drugs. It was just like so like I didn't even think I was gonna watch it, and so many people were like, "Dude, you have to watch this." And it was so like it made my heart rate raise. Just like not even thinking of James as a human, but just watching a guest be that unhinged.
Well, he was all over the place. And the other thing with him, like that bugged me with it, is he's taking so much seemingly pleasure in the whole thing. Like he seems to be really enjoying himself and like tearing down like Tom. And it's like, this is my big issue with everybody as a whole on the cast, all the people that are now speaking out or speaking up. And this is why I had an issue with Lala this season, just with how she handled things, because it seems like everybody forgets all of the shit that they've done in the past. And I'm not saying that it's to the same level as what Tom's done to Ariana, But the approach that certain people took this year, instead of coming at it from a place of like, look, I've been there, I've done this, I've been on both ends of this, like, let's talk. Or if they wanted to be rude or stern about it, there was a different way to go about it other than like acting like they'd never done anything wrong. And I feel like James took that approach, which is weird because
holier than thou approach.
Yeah, because he hooked up with fucking Lala when he and Raquel were dating, and then Lala hooked up with James when her and Randall were dating, and James was dating Raquel. Like, there's so much crossing going on, and yet when they speak on it, it's like, oh, that's different though. Like, get over it. That was 5 years ago. It's like, why is that any different? Or why can't we address that? Why are you acting like you've never done anything wrong and you're on this pedestal, like shitting on everybody else? Don't get me wrong, Sandoval and Schwartz and everybody involved deserve all the shit, but you can't come at it from a place of like, I've never done anything wrong, because then it discredits you. And that's what I thought. That's why I had an issue with multiple people this year.
That makes sense. And what about Peter?
Peter.
Sweet Pete.
Sweet Pete. Pete's just out there living his best life, just trying to just hook up with anybody that he can. And you know what? I respect it.
When he came over and did our podcast, he was like, I'm bringing you a gift. I'm bringing you a gift. And he was so excited. He brought me a t-shirt that said, it's his, what is that called?
Centaur.
A centaur. So it's like
half person, half
horse.
Yeah, half horse.
Oh my God, is he the horse?
It's his head. I should have worn it. It's his head on a horse body, and it says, I'm not a starter pony.
Oh my God.
That's fucking incredible. Can we get
that shirt?
Yeah, on number1guyinthegroup.com.
Yeah, and Peter, if you go to his Instagram bio, he bought the domain number1guyinthegroup.com.
Look, this is why I love Pete.
Jax was so mad.
Was he?
Yes.
Oh.
Literally, we were at Brittany's house, and Brittany goes, I love this story. So Brittany goes, I can't believe he did that. It would be like Kristen if I bought suckadick.com. I was like, well, someone probably already owns that.
Yeah, I think Shooter's been to that website, but
I frequented
but that's actually I wanted to ask there's a couple of moments from the past. Luke, you haven't seen these, but you might want to go back because there's some gold back there. And just remember the amazing woman that sits next to you today, and you'll be able to see her growth to get here. But I have to ask, the green dress, was that planned? That was planned, right? You
I'll break the fourth wall because I have no Bravo contract.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had 2 things to shoot that day. One did not air. So this was at the time where I had no friends. They brought back my friend Rachel O'Brien, who's a comedian. She was on a few seasons with me. And Rachel and I were going to have what I was told was like a Sex in the City type lunch, dressed like Sex in the City. So that's what I was doing. Then I got another call time that said, well, you're going to go to Tom's first real quick, and then you're going to go straight to lunch in West Hollywood.
They did you dirty.
Didn't even cross my mind.
Damn.
Nope.
And that moment
and I'm
lives
getting
on.
that dress back because I actually gave it to Stassi's little sister, Georgie, like years and years ago. I'm like, I cannot ever touch this again. It was in like the breakup museum. There was like a pop-up breakup museum in LA. And they put it like on display there, but it didn't have my name. It just explained like what the scenario was underneath it.
That's great.
Oh my God.
And then they sent it back to me. So then I gave it back to Georgie. And now I'm like, girl, you need to mail that to me. I have some TikToks to do.
Yeah, you do. Definitely.
But yeah, that's what actually happened. No, I did not wear my $20 like Lulu's.com dress in what you know what I mean, and go be like, I just need to pick up my mail and my DVR box.
Well, they did you dirty because that's what it looked like, and that's what up until this moment, that's what I thought. So I'm glad we could clear that up.
Sorry, fans. Sorry to break it to you. That's
you just shattered a lot of people's world.
I know, and if it, and I very truly like if that were what I was going for, I would own it.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I think that's why I'm so annoyed. I'm getting all these back to the trolls for 1 second. Like when the finale trailer came out and they're like, oh, so you wore a green dress and heels to pick up your mail and you wore slides and, a sports bra to go console your friend. What would it look like if I showed up in like dolled up with like full glam? Like, Ariana, I'm here to console you.
Yeah.
No, I
wore the
literally
green
called her and
dress.
said, "We're gonna be crying. We're in cozies, right?" She was like, "Yeah, dude." Like, I was like, "Cool. I showered. That's what you get from me."
Yeah, that's
all I had to
proper
offer.
breakup attire.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to?
Yeah, I got a question for both you guys. So, has a show, a Bravo show, ever created tension in your house, like picking sides on certain fights? Like you said, you pick teams when it's like these three versus that four. You ever had fights or tension come out of it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me a scenario. give me one that you can think of.
What's a good one?
Just keep your thumb.
So I'll stay within the Vanderpump realm. There's been a couple, and they're never like blowout fights, but it's just we don't agree. Like my wife loves Sonia and Dorinda and loved them for a long time. And I think a lot of people do, but I didn't appreciate the Sonia shtick. I thought that she was a lot meaner than people would like highlight. And just because she was like wacky and unhinged, she like got away with it. But she rides or dies for Sonia. So she was like, "You're not gonna say that shit in my house." I'm like, "Well, you're damn right I'm not." But we would get into it there. But in the Vanderpump realm, she was a big Stassi fan. And I was never much of a Stassi fan. Again, like I don't like mean stuff. I don't like when people are just mean for being mean's sake. And it felt like she did that a whole lot.
Yeah.
And I would be interested and curious if like I don't know if she'll ever come back on the show. I doubt it. She seems like she's doing well in her own endeavors, and that's great. But she also seems like she too has grown a whole lot from her interviews that she's done, from some of the podcasts I've listened to. So like that's what I would like to see just moving forward. I would love to just like get a check-in with some people just to see how they are. I feel like we get like Brittany and Jax are back on their like watch party or whatever. So we kind of get to check in with them. I would like to at least know what's going on with Stassi, but back to your original question, that one caused a lot of tension because she loved Stassi. And I was like, I don't get it. I think she's kind of mean. So that one, I think it broke down. It was in the pandemic, so we couldn't leave the house. So, so we got into it about it. I was like, well, I just don't understand. She's like, yeah, well, she's great and you're an idiot. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going upstairs, and like stomped upstairs. And
You
then
go on
like,
a mental health walk at that point.
yeah, and exactly. I went on a mental health social distancing walk, came back, calmed down, then we finished the episode.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, like with what you said earlier, because you've only watched a couple episodes of Vanderpump, so like Steele and I are pretty upfront about certain shows that maybe we haven't watched in the past, and we're excited to get in. And a lot of times, early on, at least, what we would do is we would just jump into it, so that way we didn't have any time to really formulate an opinion based off of past events. So I went into Beverly Hills completely blind. And like I knew people on the show, like I already knew Denise Richards, I already knew everybody else for the most part. I didn't really know much about Sutton, but I liked her a little bit. And everybody hated Sutton, including my girlfriend at the time. And she would rip me apart every single time that I would be like, Sutton's got a really good point there. She's got a really good point. It's like, no, she doesn't. Shut up. Watch the show. And I'm like, oh my God. But my biggest thing is, and it's kind of a little bit of an thinking outside the box here, rather than the actual show. So when Steele and I started, obviously it became work. And I told him, you got to put subtitles on because there's little things that happen in the background. I had subtitles on because my girlfriend at the time would talk over everything and put her own opinion out there. And I had to either pause it or look at her and be like, stop talking. I need to pay attention to this because I have work later. And then I go over to Steele's house. And lo and behold, what does he do during the entire episode? He gets up and starts running around, throwing his notebook around, screaming at the TV. And I'm like, I can't, I got to go watch these shows alone. Like, I can't do this. These people are crazy.
He's like my wife, honestly, because she'll do the same thing. Like when the show is on, it is like holy time. You cannot talk because you need to know what's going on. But I'm a very emphatic watcher. I'll be like, what the fuck? Like, you got to be kidding me. Like I legit, during one of the Scandoval episodes, like early on, like when shit started to break, I stood up from my couch. Shooter was here watching it. And this was the last time he's watched it with me. I threw my notebook like across the room. I was like, this is bullshit. Like, guys, and I look at both of them and both of them are staring at me like, dude, sit down and shut the fuck up. Like, you're going to have to go watch by yourself because we don't want to hear this anymore. So that's actually a really good point because not only does he get mad at that, my poor wife gets mad at that because I'll sit there with her and be like, dude, can you believe that? And she's like, yeah. And she's so nice that she tries to she'll give me a buffer She's like, yeah. No, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. No, I know it's nuts. Yeah. Dude, stop. And I'm like, oh yeah, my bad.
So it sounds like you always watch it with your significant other, or would they get upset if you watch it something before them? Like,
yeah,
how does that dynamic work?
Murky water, honestly, where like, because we're on a schedule where we have to record certain days. I work. I used to work from home all the time, so it was pretty simple. Like I would just wait and watch in the afternoon. But once, I broke that barrier and I'm like, all right, yeah, I really need to watch this before I go over and start recording.
Right.
Then it was like, well, you couldn't wait for it. Like we couldn't watch it last night. I'm like, no, I needed a break. I needed to watch the basketball game. I couldn't do this. So then I'll watch something during the day when I'm free. And then once that happened, I'm like, you know what? I'm on my own schedule. We'll watch what we can. But otherwise, I gotta get this done. And I don't know what Steele does, honestly, anymore.
We watch a lot of them together, but there are nights where I get back and like I personal train. I'm also a private chef, so like my schedule's kind of all over the place. Yeah, it's fun, but it's like my days are wacky. Like I'll have a lot in the morning, I'll have nothing during the day, and then I'll have like a dinner at night, and then I got the podcast, and it all gets kind of wacky. So like if we can watch together, we do, but there are definitely nights I'll come home and she'll be like, oh, like Jersey's on. I'm like, I can't do it tonight. Like I need to go play video games or like watch something stupid. And like it's just different now because when we got into reality TV, it was because you could check out, like you can watch it and kind of turn your brain off and just like get entertained for an hour. Now like Shooter can remember things, like I don't remember shit. So like I literally have like 15 of these notebooks like full of notes.
That's just me.
Yeah. So you're me and Luke is Shooter, and like he can recap it all off the top of his head. I need note by note by note. So when we watch at night and like if I'm gassed, I'm like, dude, I don't know if I can do it. Like I don't feel like writing shit down right now. And she's always cool about it. She's like, oh, okay. And like I can tell though there's certain nights that she really wants to watch it. And I'm like, yep, all right, let's watch it. Like, we'll watch it. But she's cool about like during the day. Sometimes I have to knock them out. And it's also for podcasting purposes, depending on when we're recording, just to keep it as fresh as we can. Like it'll time up a little differently. So I'll watch it beforehand.
Yeah. But that's what when we started this Vanderpump recap. Well, Kristen started the first one. I was out of town. Yeah. Anyway, we got to watch it right before, but I'm more like Shooter. And I like, Kristen's like, why aren't you taking notes? I'm like, because I know, I know what's going on.
I know what's going on. Yeah.
It's fine.
Hey, don't say with a condescending tone. No, we know what's going on, guys. Like,
well, no, like, Steele, you help because you will frame a scene really well. Then you'll have the notes and you'll be like, all right, this scene happened here. Like I might not remember that this scene happened before that one chronologically, but I know everything that happened within them. So, we play off of each other really well.
Here you go, Luke. It's like I'm play-by-play, Shooter's color commentary.
Yep, there we go.
There you go. Perfect.
See, sports, dude. It's all ties
in. You guys are making
Mike
my
Green and Reggie
so much
Miller.
better.
We're trying to help you, Kristen. We're going to get him. He's a BravBro. It's in there. I can see it behind that awesome shirt.
Well, look, honestly, I mean, if you guys need some straight guys to get on your show and start talking about what it's like to be a straight dude.
Yes.
We're right here.
We can definitely have you guys guests like coming
anytime.
on.
Yes.
Yeah. So I
got a BravBros corner.
I got a question.
Not this one.
No, it's not that one.
Oh, okay.
I got a question. So
I want to know what that one was, though.
Coming, don't worry, it's coming. So before I met Kristen, I had some friends that were neighbors that were big Bravo fans, and they talked about all this stuff, and I kind of just like blacked it out when they were talking about it. But they kept telling me that I should be on what's the boat show? Below Deck.
Oh, Below Deck.
They told me for years, they're like, Luke, you'd be perfect for Below Deck. You should just apply. You should try to be on Below Deck. And I was like, I don't know what that show is.
Do you guys
and
like
I watched
Below
an episode,
Deck? There's so many of them now.
There's too many to keep track of, I think is the best way to put it.
We tried to dive in.
One.
Yeah, we tried to dive in. We watched season one. It was actually, we both really, really enjoyed it. And we recapped it like in bonus episodes early on. But then it's like.
Did you like how I brought Alex do you remember that? When I brought Alex from Below Deck onto Vanderpump?
I don't remember that. What season was that? But this was before. So like, again, you got to remember we probably
didn't know who Alex was at the time. Yeah.
I also
this was way after Below Deck though.
Was it?
He was only on season 1 of Below Deck. And so this was like season 4, I think, of Vanderpump Rules after James and I broke up. And they wanted to see single Kristen. Katie's Pucker and Pout Party. like around that time. And they filmed.
See, here's
Alex
the thing. I hadn't seen any Below Deck when we were, because I binge watched.
So I don't think I was able to piece it together.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I know who Alex
8
is now,
seasons, 8 seasons of Vanderpump within 2 weeks. So like it kind of blurs together a little bit.
That's a lot.
I can see that.
But you do look like a deckhand. I think I could see that. Yeah, you look like an Australian deckhand from Below Deck.
I love boats. I love to fish. I kept telling him, I'm like, if I
so
go
you'll
on,
watch Below Deck. We'll start
I still
you
haven't
there.
watched it. Okay, we can watch it. But I was like, my plan would be all these rich people were serving. I'd have like a business plan in my back pocket and be like, all right, so you guys have money, right?
Yeah.
Well, that was
that was
the thing. When Steele and I were rewatching, we rewatched. I was just trying to think about this the other day. We rewatched season 1, and the first episode, there were guys doing drugs on the boat, and they had to get kicked off, and it was wild. It was awesome. And then before we knew it, we went episode 2, then 4. So they skipped over 3, and here we had to look it back. Bravo had to pull it from all streaming because there was something wrong. It was either like some slurs or something. It was sexual harassment, and it was really rough. And I'm like, we have to try to find this somewhere, and it's gone. And I forgot. I was just talking to somebody about this, and I couldn't remember what show it was. But yeah, no, that was. And we tried to find it, we couldn't find it. But that's pretty funny.
Detective Doty at your service. Let me see.
Yeah, look into it.
My wife told me to compliment you on your FBI skills. She's like, Doty's like the FBI, dude. If anyone needs to find out stuff, like she doesn't do it like the generic way. Like she actually figures out what's going on. She's like the FBI. She wanted me to give you credit there as well.
I know. And it's so nice to have like a boyfriend who doesn't cheat on me and like someone who's just so loyal and wonderful. So now I'm at everyone else's service.
I'm pretty
sure. Go.
I think I'm boring to her sometimes because she doesn't have enough stuff to look for.
Hey, stay boring, dude. That's a good thing.
No, you're not boring
good advice.
You're not boring with that sick shirt.
We have a couple of like news things really fast. Did you guys hear it? This just broke today about Pump closing.
I saw that.
And then did you see that? Which is sucks. I mean, Lisa and I, whatever, but I love Ken, and that's really shitty and sad. But did you see the landlord's rebuttal?
No.
What happened?
What happened?
Landlord said, I'll actually just read it so I don't misquote. They debunked.
Well, so Lisa said the reason they're closing is because she had to sign a new lease, and the rent was going up to $1 million a year, and that they'd have to sign a 10-year lease, and said it didn't make sense. Anyway, owner,
the landlords, it says the Vanderpump's landlord tells Entertainment Tonight, Lisa's comments regarding the rent for Pump that expensive are not accurate. We did not raise the rent, and in fact, they have been in default under their lease for some time. We have been nothing but supportive as they tried to catch up, but we also forgave some rent during COVID.
Whoa.
Wow.
That's crazy.
LVP a little shaky too.
Who do you think the landlord is? You think it's Greg?
Greg, dude. We hate Greg.
You do? I love Greg.
No.
So
maybe he's different in person, but on TV he
comes off terribly.
But he has to deal with Tom and Tom as the bar owner.
I respect that. I respect that.
Greg was the owner of one of our most beloved bar that we go to in West Hollywood called the Belmont. He's the previous owner. We've filmed there a bunch of times, and he's a really good friend of a friend. But like, he is a really good business dude. Now imagine if you were the ones working with Tom and Tom.
I would never. I agree, and I can appreciate that.
Night, and we have that velvet, and they're like, "What about your business plan?" We're like, "It's $1 million in, but look at the wallpaper."
I appreciate that.
He looks like a dick on TV.
He looks like a dick on TV. Yeah, he doesn't look great on TV, and that's that's what we get. And we try to stay as objective as possible. So. Right. With that, whatever we see on TV, we got to comment on it. And on TV, Greg's kind of a dick. So
totally
fair.
Yeah, totally.
I didn't know that about
though from dealing with them. Like I'm a business guy, and I went in there. I'm like, there's not even a TV in the corner. There's no TV in this bar. It's a bar, and there's no TV anywhere.
Yeah,
we wouldn't
go.
Like
not fried food. There's not. You can't get a basket of tots or fries or anything in there. It's like, okay, this is a bar. You can't get fried food, and there's no TV. I would never come here if I wasn't supporting some friends of Kristen's,
Right.
Well, what was the thing? It was a lobster corn dog.
Oh, that's the best thing on their menu. It was actually really good, but it was like $26 or something. So,
oh my God. Yeah.
The fuck lobster corn dog. That pissed me off as a chef when it came out.
Yeah, I bring it up as much as I possibly can.
Their whole menu will piss you off as a chef.
Yeah. Well, watching them bring out all of the entrees and stuff like for the menu testing, I was like, what's the goal? What are you guys trying to like do? What's the theme here? Why is there 5 different kinds of entrees that all fit into different cultures of food? Like it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Do you want to come and like fix their menu?
No. No, not at all. I'm just saying it made me frustrated.
Yeah.
Fair. Okay, and then in other news, this is something we just read recently, but I've been dying to talk about, and this has nothing to do with Bravo. It just has to do with sex.
Cool.
Oh, it's an article. It says Denver residents could earn $1,000 masturbating as part of an orgasm advisory job.
That's crazy. That's so insane. Who? Like, what's the hospital that needs?
Yeah, do you have a contact number?
Yeah, what's
exactly
that? You want to send that to us?
So it's
right?
There's a company called Love Honey, I guess. It's like a sex toy company or
Love
something.
Honey, and they want you to masturbate.
So
it sounds like the Don whispering in Lala's ear. Give me your love, honey.
I'm dead with that.
Stop it.
But it says they have a new orgasm advisory board, and that you can earn $1,000 a year masturbating with free sex toys. And I don't know why this is in Denver. That's very random, but they give you $250 per month worth of sex toys for a whole year. I mean, that's like a room full.
Well,
and then you get paid $1,000 and you just have to use all the sex toys and then like report back.
It's like a beta tester for sex toys. Yeah.
I got a lot of questions. I have a whole lot of questions.
It's not worth $1,000. It's not worth $1,000. And also
clearly their customer acquisition costs they're trying to keep down, and they're not using Instagram influencers. Number one.
Yeah.
But I want to know why Denver.
Maybe
altitude.
What?
Altitude affects orgasms. Everybody knows that.
Come on. Our Mile High Club.
Yeah.
Well, I get so. Wait.
Unless they're gonna like test marijuana with it too, like that would make sense.
If you want to make money masturbating, just donate your sperm, right? Don't they pay like $1,000 a week doing that? Or
that
something?
would also, I think that would be more lucrative.
Yeah. That would be more, but I guess I don't understand. Like, they pay in sex toys? Or they pay in money?
Both. So they give you. So what the article says is they gift you $250 worth of sex toys every month for 1 year. And pay you $1,000 cash.
Is it
and then you have to report back on.
Is it dudes only, or is it dudes and women?
It's a woman on the picture.
Well, no, I think
it's both. But I believe it's both. Yeah,
it's both.
I guess for like a dude, how many sex toys do you need? Like that, I just don't.
Yeah.
Like. One, right?
One.
Like one, maybe.
Body.
We don't need a whole lot. Like, I think it would be a better use of their resources. They should teach dudes how to give an orgasm. That would be better. Tell them like a tutorial with the sex toys. Here, guys, help your lady
how to be
out.
clitorate.
Yeah, how to be clitorate. That's
like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that in the future.
Yeah, 100%. I've never heard that, but
that's going to make an appearance on our show next week.
Without a doubt. But that would be a better use of their resources than sending some deviants $250 of sex toys a month.
No, it's literally it's beta testing. Like people send you TVs to test.
More like
and be
beta
like, wow,
testing.
I really like the way that this works and the interface. Yeah, nice, dude.
Thanks.
And then they'll send you, a sex toy. They'll send you, a robot that you can have sex with and see how it goes. And if it goes horribly wrong, they want to make sure they get that feedback.
Yeah, and if any listeners are interested, apparently they're going to be at the 16th Street Mall Saturday, May 13th from 1 to 5, and then outside Coors Field on Sunday the 14th.
Oh my God, I hope the Rockies are playing. I hope the Rockies are playing.
Can you say that a little bit slower?
Oh my God. Outside of Coors Field. I need someone on site. Like,
could you imagine going to a Rockies game and you pull up and there's just a bunch of sex dolls and like dildos and stuff hanging around? You're like, what the fuck happened to the tailgate?
I can imagine that. I've spent time in Denver. I have a place in Colorado.
He lives in Colorado.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be that crazy.
It wouldn't
be that nuts, no pun intended.
Nice.
But no, that area right outside Coors Field though is like party town. Like Thursday through Sunday, it's streets are packed. It's a fun place. Yeah. But anyway, do I have to sing this?
I mean, you sang it last time. It was good. Okay, so do you guys have any other questions? Because we have one thing we liked. One question we like to wrap up our.
That you're gonna sing? Are you gonna sing it to us?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm eager to get on with the singing. Steele.
Yeah, I think I asked. Oh, the one. Nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is for both of you independently.
Okay.
I would do anything for love, but I won't do
That.
What's the one? What's that for
So
you guys?
What's that? What would you do anything for
Oh.
love, but
Thing
you
I
won't do
wouldn't
what?
for love.
But you won't do what?
I said be a vegan. So you
That's a
can't
good
take that.
one. That's a
My
good
friend
That's a
Janet
good
said who's married, said she won't do a blowjob to completion.
Oh, wow. That's a shame for her husband.
Only a
Warm up.
Only a
A
warm up.
BJW.
Oh my God.
Only a warm-up?
WU.
A WUBJ?
BJWU, yeah.
Yeah.
I would probably not stop watching sports would be a good one.
That's a
a
great
good
one. I concur. I would do anything for love, but I will not stop watching football.
Yeah.
I would do anything for love, but
Be more creative.
I wouldn't stop. That's the thing. I like thinking like cooking, but like that's boring.
Yeah.
I wouldn't stop beta testing sex toys.
I would not stop beta texting sex toys no matter what. If my wife was like, I'm really getting tired of these boxes coming to the house full of sex toys every week, I'd be like, well, I'm making